I saw actually both debates. I saw the presidential debate and the vice presidential debate. The presidential debate was, I can't even describe it.
And I think that it was a mess. It was unprofessional. It was poorly moderated. The moderator had very little power to begin with.
Supreme Court Justice,
the
radical
question,
left.
Will you shut up, man?
Listen, who is on your list, Joe? Who's on your list?
Gentlemen, I think
this
we've
is
ended
so
this.
He's going to pack the court.
It was a little scary because there was a lot of talking over people, and I was trying to listen in on what Biden was saying, what Trump was saying, and I felt like it wasn't a fair enough debate because one person didn't get a chance to really say as much as they wanted to.
And it wasn't focused at all. It wasn't two presidential candidates speaking to each other about issues. It was Joe Biden trying to put on display to America Trump as an enemy, and it was Donald Trump trying to antagonize Biden.
The first presidential debate was a little bit disturbing. I can get caught up in Trump was sort of obviously trying to exploit Joe Biden's stutter, which is a disturbing thing to try and do to a political, that's not an intellectual debate. That's essentially dirty tactics as far as I'm concerned. But what I found more disturbing was the lack of mutual understanding of the facts. Specifically, Trump would posit non-factual statements that you can't respond to without legitimizing them. In order for a conversation to take place, there has to be a mutual understanding of the reality and of the facts. And that mutual understanding doesn't exist right now.
All right, I am Brian Boston.
I'm Adam Burby.
My name is Samantha Alvarez, and my major is film and video production.
I'm a political science major.
And I am a second-year environmental earth system science major at Macaulay at City College, New York.
I'd say I'm sort of familiar with politics. I'm still learning a lot as I go.
I'd say I'm moderately familiar. I keep myself informed. I read the news.
I think also it's a very important election that's coming up. So this year, definitely, it was important for me to work on that and learning more about politics and how it affects me and everyone around me.
I've been politically active for maybe the past 4 or 5 years. The number one issue for me above all in any election really is the climate and the environment. I see myself almost as a single issue voter in this sense because such little progress is done on the matter that I feel morally obligated to vote for whoever will do as much as possible.
This could be the last 4 years that we have to reverse climate change in this country. I have a very personal connection with the environment around me, and it's something that I think about a lot.
What I've seen as the key issues, if the nominees are paying attention to climate change, what their stance is on abortion, for LGBTQ rights, and also even immigration.
The pandemic has just highlighted, I feel like, all of the inequities and all of the issues with American electoral politics. It puts on display how unwilling politicians are to work for their constituents, but more so for themselves. Like, why are we taking a recess in the middle of a pandemic without passing economic relief bills? Why are we paying these politicians? Why are politicians receiving socialized health care, but then denouncing it for the general public?
We know that the number of casualties that we have in this country is high. But I think we all have a really hard time conceptualizing it. I've been lucky enough to not have somebody directly related, in my immediate circle be lost to this. But I do know one of my best friend's parents passed away from this disease. I don't think that the American people are able to see this pandemic as being equivalent to a war. But we are losing American citizens and American residents. We're losing Americans at a rate that you wouldn't expect outside of warfare.
The current president, I haven't seen any work being done this year, so I felt like that was influential for my choices. I would like to see more organization in terms of, both of them being able to speak without being interrupted, but also learning more, because I think in the vice presidential debate, I didn't hear much about immigration, so I would like to hear about that in the presidential debate, not just reiterating some of the issues, but also getting more in-depth look at how they're gonna handle climate change. That's a really big issue that hopefully people will see is real.
We're in a political climate where there are climate deniers leading the EPA leading the presidential administration, taking us out of the worldwide agreements. Right now, Biden is making at least an effort to put the climate into his policies, but he's not making a heavy effort. It's pretty central. He's openly said he doesn't want to end fracking. He's kind of pushing the status quo. He just wants to bring back cap and trade, bring back the regulations of the Obama era, but the regulations of the Obama era aren't where we should stop. We should push past them.
I guess I would really like to see active fact checking. I also think that you need to be able to turn off the microphones or go to a commercial break, or there was no system in place to protect the integrity of the debate.
I feel like the election decides the future of the people. The fact that it's on that thin line where they're deciding your future for you, that's scary to think about. But also the people have a bigger voice than the government does. So I think we're recognizing that in this year, in 2020, how powerful our voices can be.